Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. Let me know in chat right away if you can hear my voice. We're starting a bit early because it looks like the conjunction is happening right now. Oh, look at that. The kiss of two planets. That's nice. That's just nature. We're gonna turn down this music. And we have a special guest here with us. Special guest, are you there? Can you hear me? Let's see if you can. You can hear. Okay, you can hear me. Let me see if my guest can hear me. 1 second. No fool like me is with us. Are you coming in? Oh wait, he can't hear me. Here we go. Okay, welcome. We are live. No fool like me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. We're witnessing these two gas planets going into each other, and are you the one responsible for figuring out the math of when this would happen?
I am the one responsible for figuring out the math, and sorry that it's about an hour earlier than you were expecting, but in some ways it's actually possibly slightly late. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
we were calculating that the closest approach would be 5:30,
yeah.
and they are literally just touching now. And in fact, the carrier that I'm aboard appears to have disintegrated from possibly from gravitational effects. I might see if I can send you a screenshot.
Oh boy, we're going in right now with our dolphin, trying to get as close as we can to see if we can even just get put inside of the gas giants. Is that what happening on your fleet carrier at the moment?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I think this carrier is in a good position to get hit by the other planet.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's 0.35 light seconds away from both, and it's sort of on the sunny side.
Yeah.
But I think it's high enough on the to near enough the pole to actually get a glancing blow at least. But as I say, most of the structure of the carrier seems to have disappeared now.
Yeah.
If you look in your general chat, you can see there's a screenshot there.
Oh yeah, I'll take a look there. Unfortunately, I can't cut to it during the stream, but I'll take a look there. I wish you could paste that to the chat. That would be awesome, but I don't think it works that way here. Now I'm going right towards, like, right in between the two planets. These two gas giants, and okay, I'm dropping out. Okay, I'm at this.
Hit the exclusion zone.
Yeah, I'm basically at the seam. What I'm hoping will happen is that I'll be kind of sandwiched in between here, and I'll be sandwiched in between and then pushed into one of the planets. Now, you say this is a minor event. This looks like a pretty major collision here, but what did you mean by this is a minor collision?
When I was trying to decide what to class as minor and major, minor collision is less than 50%. So what we'll see is an overlap is about 36% overlap between the two.
That's pretty yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
I can
so
imagine. I can see that how that's minor compared to what's going to happen probably next June, right?
that's right. So in June, it's going to be pretty much a head-on collision. So it's a 99% overlap,
Now,
and we should hopefully be pretty certain to get a fleet carrier caught in between them when that happens.
yeah,
But the way it is at the moment, most of the fleet carriers seem to be on the equator, and because this event is happening at the pole, then most of them will come close, but won't actually get to sort of be inside. But we're not 100% sure because the orrery isn't very accurate. So
right.
it's quite difficult to work out what's going on, to be honest.
What I noticed from the Ori is it's interesting the inclination of these two gas giants. They're completely separated from the rest of the solar plane here. It's basically perpendicular to the rest of the solar system. It's pretty interesting that
Mm.
number one, there are two gas giants that are uh, next, on the same plane, but two gas giants on a perpendicular plane. I'm just curious on how that could have happened. Not that it's impossible, but just that, like, from what the Stellar Forge has put together, like, what sort of stellar occurrence has made that happen?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, presumably it's something, possibly something extrasolar that's sort of been captured
Yeah,
around the sun. Um,
yeah,
but
cause
it is quite unusual. But
yeah,
it's also the fact that the orbit is perfectly circular for
yeah, that's
both
another
of
thing.
these.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's not
and there's
like
no eccentricity. Yeah.
yeah, it's not yeah, it's really weird, and that could also be an artifact of the orrery view. Um,
Mm.
or not. Actually, I suppose if we go into Super Cruise and we look down at the orbit, we could see it both. Um, I see we have a special guest on your end.
We do, yes.
Yes, I have a special guest with me. He's sitting next to me, my son here, watching this. Now it looks like one planet. Okay, I think the well, now which one's rhubarb and which one's custard?
Sorry, the planet one is custard. It's kind of yellowish, and
Yeah,
planet two is rhubarb. I'm being attacked here.
it's okay. Take all defensive measures unnecessary. Now it looks like we used to have two outlines of planets here. Now I only see the outline of custard, and the outline of rhubarb has disappeared. I wonder now if no, the last time this happened, last time we covered colliding stellar objects, there was two moons, and once you were in the gravity well of one or the instance of one, you the other one basically became uh like not invisible, but like um not there. So you could fly through the other one, but the first planet you instance in, that one was still solid. So I wonder if that's what's happened here, where I think I'm part of the capture of custard, and rhubarb over here has become
Ghost.
a ghost. And I think actually, okay, so in game, you can't fly to the surface of these gas giants. Number one, it's because the exclusion zone pushes you out. But
Mm.
two, there's no actual surface. It's just a projection. So there's nothing to go into. But right now, I can tell my altitude is falling. I'm going towards the surface of rhubarb. I see I see this plane here. I'm not sure if it's coming up on stream very clearly, but this is definitely racing towards my ship. I am in a dolphin, and this is also a permadeath account, which means if this ship blows up, I clear my save. So okay, we're about to do some impact. We're about to go right into rhubarb. It's coming in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your butts. Here we go. Here it is. Oh, okay, I'm inside the planet. It's disappeared. Rhubarb has completely disappeared from view, except for some kind of geometrical, like, oh my god, what is this? Oh god. I think it's a whole new game. I think I found.
I wish I could see that.
Oh my
Um,
god, it's beautiful. They should have sent a poet. It looks like you get a map of the world and you turn it into silly putty and you threw it at a wall.
I
That's what I'm
think you're
seeing right
inside
now.
the orrery.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
in.
you're inside the orrery now, aren't
Yeah,
you?
I'm inside. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world's first um, flying inside of a gas planet right now. If I could flash a funny like news text, it would read on the bottom third of the thing, inside gas planet.
So the thing is, I've used the Spanch database to find this one.
Used
I did
what?
find a whole Spanch.
Yeah.
So he has a data dump, and I just wrote some code to look for for orbits that were likely to have the surfaces of the planets overlapping. I found a whole
Oh.
bunch of stuff.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
we'll
so
we'll
but
have
this
to have
one,
a discussion later on.
yeah. So this is how I found this one. So this stood out because it was the only set of gas giants in the whole list.
Yeah.
So this is a unique, really unique event. I did find another system, which was only like 1,000 light years from the bubble,
Yeah.
and it's two rocky bodies, and they collide, not full on, but about 70-80%, and they collide every 8 days, 8 point something
Oh my
days.
gosh. Okay,
So
definitely let me
and
know where
actually,
that is.
there was a collision yesterday
Uh-huh.
at around about 4 p.m.
Okay.
Um, and then in 8 days' time, 1 hour later, there'll be another collision. So I haven't, I did work out a whole schedule for them,
Yeah.
but that schedule has now got to the end, so I need to recalculate
Yeah.
for maybe the next year or so.
No.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great place. Only 1,000 light years from the bubble. Anyone can get there really, and yeah, it's 2 jumps in a fleet carrier,
Nice.
and it is amazing. So when you were saying about seeing the inside of the planet, I had that from the point of view of an SRV.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm driving along, and some of you may have seen this on Galnet News Digest, driving along the surface of the planet towards what looks like a tsunami of
Oh
sort of
yeah.
the planet going from one inside the other.
Right. It looks like
And
a
then
pyroclastic flow, like coming right at
yeah,
you.
yeah, it's absolutely amazing thing to look at. And of
Yeah.
course, the parent planet is massive in the sky as well. So
Mhm.
all you can see is rock,
Yeah.
and then when you dive inside, you just keep on driving along the surface, and all of a sudden you're in this weird upside down world.
Yeah.
And it is quite. I mean, it is quite the thing. If you want to avoid the immersion breaking, don't drive into it. But to actually see it is pretty incredible.
Yeah. We
And
did.
the other,
Yeah.
yeah, the other thing is the flying your ship along that boundary as well. The gravitational
Yeah.
effects are a bit weird, so you can end up being pushed into the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of planets that do this, and I have a big list. Some of them are more frequent than others. So I've been looking for looking for ones that are convenient. But I've also been looking for ones that only occur once every few thousand years,
Yeah.
um, but are going to
Wow.
happen like next month. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
to find one
Right.
of those. It's like you'll never see this one happen again.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's pretty good. But one of the reasons why I was looking at this is I wanted. So I've developed the Canon EDMC plugin,
Mhm.
which is it's a little bit of software, tells you where there are interesting things to go. But when you jump into a system, it tells you what you can expect to find there. So it'll tell you that that there's some biology there.
Almost like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Elite Galaxy.
Yeah. So it brings up these little icons so you can see, there's a high value planet. I need to go and scan that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I was doing was actually looking for these interesting phenomena. So things like shepherd moons,
Yeah.
close orbiting planets, and so one of the things it'll do if you use it is, and you come to this system, for instance, what it'll actually do is it'll bring up a little information icon, and if you hover over it, it'll tell you that there's a collision fly past between planets 1 and 2. So if you're out there exploring in the galaxy, as you scan the planets, it's automatically checking to see if there's anything exciting, and it'll tell you there and then, there's going to be a collision here at some point. And this is only going to tell us about collisions that are happening within the next 30 days. So, well, not, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
basically saying if there's going to be a collision in the next 30 days, it'll tell you.
Now I'm gonna try and I'm gonna try to super cruise out of here by pointing at this thing. Let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see what happens here. I'm pointing at the center of custard, of rhubarb, aligned with escape vector. Okay, apparently I'm in an escape vector here. Let's see what it looks like when we jump out. Okay, dropping too close. So I jumped out and it immediately dropped me back in. Let me try it again. Okay, there's a cooldown going on. All right, here we go. Trying again. For those of you in chat asking questions, I'm trying to look at chat and fly at the same time. So I'll try to get to your questions as. Okay, yeah, it won't let me jump out. Probably because it's seeing that there's another planet here. And yeah, and so as soon as I jump out, instead of being mass locked, um, like in the instances of two rocky bodies, I couldn't jump out because I was mass locked to either one. Whereas in this case, I just drop out because it says I'm in the exclusion zone of one or the other, which I guess makes sense. So we're basically just going to have to sit tight here. I have another account outside of this this marriage of custard and rhubarb. So we might switch to that just so we can see how these two look on the outside, because I cannot imagine what it looks like now. The two, it must look like two ice cream scoops stacked on top of each other. What's it look like from your fleet carrier at the moment?
Looks like a big Venn diagram. So there's like a straight line down the middle where they meet, and
Yeah.
they do overlap, but it's kind of cut off when they. So I think like the atmosphere is translucent, and then when it gets too thick, it kind of gets cut off.
Yeah.
I was having a look, see if there are any other fleet carriers that look like they might be in trouble.
Yeah.
It looks like CRV Luthien potentially is in the right place to get squashed.
All right. Somebody made a suggestion of trying the high wake. I'm gonna try to high wake out, and then I'll come back. And these planets aren't too far away. Oh, it's obscured by one of them. Okay, let me try a different one. It's interesting. This area, there's only so many places you can jump to, so you need at least a jump range of 37 to get in here, let alone get out. Okay, here we go. Now this is 16 light years away, but the next system from that is who knows how far. So it looks like I'm gonna be able to jump out. Let's see if I want to see what this place looks like once I jump back in. But that's a good suggestion there, Sturby Jr. Pro Pixel Chicken. No, this is not a scripted event. I'm pretty sure FDev did not mean for this to happen. This isn't a FDev sponsored event. If anything, oh boy. Okay. If anything, this might be the last time you see any of this of any sort of kind, which isn't far off from all the stuff we do. Pretty much, I would say 80% of all the things we've done on our channel doesn't exist anymore. From colliding moons to rings, moons going into the rings, being able to fly inside of what's it called, battle cruisers and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, this is the fun part of the game to me. It's not that the game is breaking, but that something that could happen in real life is happening, but the game doesn't know how to deal with it in terms of realistic representation of two large bodies colliding. 1 second. But these things do happen. In fact, around Saturn, I was mentioning yesterday. Oh yeah, look at that. Around Saturn, there are two moons, Janus and Epimetheus, that are on the same, just like these two planets here, are on the same orbital plane. They orbit Saturn on the same orbit, except for one is slightly inside, on the inside track than the other. And I believe it's every 4 years or so, they get really close, just like these two. But instead of like, you know, scraping over each other, making a giant space peanut right here. It looks like a giant, perfect cartoon peanut. Instead of making this, it in real life, something even stranger happens. As the two moons get next to each other, their gravity starts to pull each other almost equally, and right before they hit, they actually just switch orbits. So then the other moon goes on the outside track, and the other moon goes on the inside track, and then they go on their carousel of near death every 4 years, which I think is just crazy. And it was actually represented in the game. I think about 2 years ago there was a we did a video on a system called Kylo Astley something or another, I don't remember. And it's near Colonia, and these two moons were exactly the same orbit as Janus and Epimetheus around its ringed planet, and the same thing was happening. And it was just amazing that the game was showing something that actually does happen in real life, except for it couldn't switch the orbits of the two. I mean, there's the gravity doesn't really exist in the game. It's just something that is plugged in as other numbers, and yeah. And so when things like
Well,
this happen, yeah,
I think dry awesomes. There's a planet there, a pair of planets there that can collide. And in the GMP entry for it, I haven't been there yet, but in the galactic mapping entry, it says that they switch orbits.
mm-hmm.
But I think what's happening in that case is that the orbits are eccentric.
Yeah,
So depending on where you are in the orbit, then if one's at the minima and the other one's at the maxima, then
yeah.
they cross over. You can tell I'm not a proper
Oh.
proper astronomer.
Well, you're in good. We're in good.
Apogee
You're in
and
good company
perigee.
here. Which
Yeah,
megaship? Which fleet carrier are you on?
I was on I've forgotten the name. Siren of Andromeda.
Okay, that's where I'm headed right now.
I'm not sure that that's the best one. Again, it's really difficult to see.
Well, right now it's the only one on this side of the
Yeah.
of the sunny side of the
Yeah, it's
planets
quite.
available.
I can meet you there.
Yeah, I'll be dropping in there momentarily.
Yeah, I'm about 100 kilometers away at the moment. I was just having a look around to see if there was another carrier. There's one of the cannon carriers looks like it might be in a good position.
Yeah. Since we've already
and that
gone
is
inside
Luthor.
of since we already got inside of one, I just want to see if we can see it from like the an outside view.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it would be really cool. What would really happen in an actual collision like this? Unlike the rocky planets, which would just kind of their gravities would affect each other, the tidal forces from two gas planets, they would start trading material. So they would pull the atmospheres of each other, almost like bowls of water. Oops, dropping too close. Oh, I can't get inside of Andromeda because it's too close. It's too close to the thing here. But they would start trading.
So I still want to see that if like the trading of material, the fact that it would be gravitationally like hitting a point where it would come together, things would ignite. Like I want to see this with gas giants for real.
Yeah, me too. Hey, welcome there, Sparks. How are you doing? We got our guest here. He's the one who basically figured all this out for us, and not only that, but so much more. Now, do you like to be referred to by your full name, LCU, Fool Like No One, or No Fool Like One?
Or can we give you like a little nickname, something maybe a little shorter?
Oh, he dropped out. He left.
Oh. Well, he ran away with that question. Mars.
Bye bye. Alright, he'll come back, hopefully. But
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Sparks. Are you getting an eyeful of this? Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's kind of intense. I mean, I know that the game engine doesn't really render all the madness that I want to see, but I want to see what it does render.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was going to say is that like even though this stuff isn't supposed to happen in game, it does, and this is the closest we're going to get. Whoa. Oh wait, hold on. The plant just disappeared. If I do this, I pull a David Copperfield on it, and it goes away. Okay. Even though it doesn't represent a true impact of what obviously would happen, like trading material and all these things, and maybe combining to a new planet. This is the closest we're gonna get to that, and it's really cool. And I think just the amount of people tuning in to watch this, and the amount of people traveling, taking the time to travel hours and hours to see a faux event, I think speaks to the willingness of the community to watch one of these things, as rare as they are. Okay, I'm coming out and coming in. Now, Sparks, I don't know if you saw earlier, but I was able to get the dolphin inside of the pinkish one, and it was all geometry in there. It was just it was just crazy. I couldn't jump out because it said I was too close to a planet. Um, but
Which is technically true,
it was
I
technically true.
guess.
I mean, I'm technically inside of a planet, so yeah, I guess it's not wrong. But I could high wake out. Luckily, someone in chat made a good suggestion there, so I was able to high wake out, and so that way we can see this. And check on our guest, see if he's back. Okay, fooled like no one. He's back. I need to unmute him. Okay, you're back. Sorry about that.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Oh,
Taking this all in.
so what was the question that you asked me before I disconnected?
Oh, I was just letting Sparks know that you were the one who not only found this place, but has made tools to find other places of equal to better exploratory value. And now, aside from like finding glitches in the game like this, what other sort of like really cool things are can be found in in the stuff you've been working on?
Um, so I mean, some of the things that I think are quite cool is shepherd moons.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you get a shepherd moon that's very very close
Yeah.
to the rings.
Not yet. So now I just want to explain for our audience. A shepherd moon is a moon inside of not just inside of the ring, but like in between the rings, like taking up the place where a gap would be in the rings, right?
Yeah, yeah, and also on the edge as well.
Yeah.
And actually, I find the ones that are on the edge are much more visually appealing.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about the rocky bodies that collide every 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
That particular system, the two bodies that collide are shepherd moons, and they're very close to the rings. The rings there are quite unusual as well because they're incredibly dense. It looks like a piece of mahogany from the top.
Yeah.
And so if you're in the rings, you can get this lovely view of the two moons colliding, and like you say, they look like a peanut when they're joined together. But yeah, so think things like shepherd moons and high gravity planets as well. Good fun.
Now I've seen in the bubble there is a shepherd moon that I know of, and it's in I have to look up on my notes what system it's in, but it's a ring planet with its rings have a huge radius, and in between its rings are a couple of moons, and I think I don't want to be wrong about this, but I mean it doesn't matter. You all don't know where it is, so even if I am wrong, you'll never see it. One of those moons is actually another ringed planet, and the only thing about that that ring system is that it's so faint, so you can't really, and also they're very far apart, so you can't really see the rings once you're in a shepherd moon's orbit. But nonetheless, it's still pretty cool to be on a moon in between other rings.
Yeah. Yeah, let's say the closer they are to the rings, the more interesting. So it had one submitted to the Galactic Mapping Project recently, named it the Icebreaker, and so it's an icy ring system, and the rings are so close to the Shepherd Moon that you are still in you go into super cruise as you come close to the planet while you're still inside the ring. Which is quite nice, but I'm hoping to find something much closer, perhaps something that's impacting.
Yeah, that would be great. That's one of my favorite things. And one of my favorite things about moons that go into the rings of other planets is what you do is you go into the ring in front of the planet, and you ride the ring just right over the surface, and you're going like 1,000,000 miles per hour. And just so much fun. It's such a rush. Of course, we have a video on that too, so go ahead and check that out. Okay, I'm going towards the dark side of everything because it kind of looks a little bit more dynamic, more ominous once you go get some shadows over here. For those of us who want to see something that looks like this in real life, like actual real life, there is a conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter happening this month. Not like this, obviously, but the orbit relative to us, it looks like well, Jupiter will be right in front of Saturn. So for a few days, they'll look like two planets right next to each other. Just because the compression, if you look at it through a telescope, they'll look like they're right next to each other, but in fact they're 450 million miles away from each other. But the next time this will happen will be in 400 years, so even worse than being patched out. You just won't live to see another thing like this in real life. So do check that out. If you have a telescope or even just a point and shoot with a really good zoom, go and look for it.
My wife.
Can you actually really see it with a point and shoot with a really
Yeah.
good zoom?
Yeah, yeah. Me and my dad, we used to take pictures of Saturn together. Although, he would say like, "Oh, it's great. I can see Saturn, all this stuff." And I look at it, I'm like, "Dad, it's all fuzzy and stuff." He goes, "Whatever makes a memory." I'm like, "All right, fine. You're right."
I've quite enjoyed seeing them getting closer actually throughout the summer.
Yeah, I've been noticing
they're quite
that too.
recognizable. And you just by the naked eye you can see them.
Yeah.
And my wife sort of noticed that they're very close together the other day, and
Yeah.
she got her Google Sky Map thing out and had a look, and she could see that Pluto was very close to alignment as well. So I don't know if that is there as well. Of course, it won't be visible.
Yeah.
Just one moment. I'm just going to deal with
No problem. No
my
problem.
visitor.
I have my son's here next to me, writing on post-it notes, asking me questions, and I'll address them. He's asking me why don't I try to land, or at least try to get into the brown planet down here, and I want to, but I can't just because of the exclusion zone. And I saw in chat somebody else asked, can I try to get stuck in here? I'll do it again because we did it at the beginning of the stream, so many of you have missed it, but I'll try to get in here again. And what happened was, as I was a part of this planet's like existence in game, and this planet over here just became an imaginary planet, so it just passed through me. But while I was in there, everything became like a giant square, giant tesseract, somebody said in chat. And so we'll try to go here. I'm going as fast as I can in Super Cruise, which is only 200 and... Oh, wait. Okay. When I do this, it goes away. Alright. Well, I'll do my best to try to get in there. But this is about as fast as I can go. Again, you can see the outline of one planet, and sort of the outline of the other. And these two aren't going into each other. Like, this one isn't going in this way. They're clipping the tops and bottoms of each other. So I'll try to get in there again for you guys. Let's see
LCU, I hope you don't mind me using that as a nickname for you. I just need something a little shorter. What was the reason why you even got involved in the calculations? Like, what was the motivation?
It was literally I was kind of interested in seeing if if I could write some code to work out whether things would collide. And the thing is, I'm not not an astronomer. I'm not even a mathematician. I failed my A-level maths. And I actually had to teach...
What do you do for a living? Are you a programmer?
I'm a programmer. Yeah.
Okay, so math is definitely a friend of yours, even if it's not.
Yeah, it's but not that kind of math. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, I saw the math that's on that article, and that's not math that normal people do.
To be honest, it's a lot of kids who study maths at pre-university level should be able to do those kinds of calculations, because it's just about triangles, to working out what the sides of triangles are and the angles of triangles. So it's basic trigonometry, but I couldn't remember any of that stuff because it was like 40 years ago that I learnt it,
Yeah,
and I had to kind of
for
teach
those
myself.
listening, trigonometry is something that, for whatever reason, at least in the United States, is very dry and boring when they teach it to you. But actually, there's a lot of unfortunate, like real world applications, like what you did, and then also with like
Like applying
graphics
it into a
program.
video game to find if two fake planets are going to crash into each other.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Is trigonometry is actually way more interesting than what I've seen and what I was exposed to growing up. I actually learned trigonometry twice, once in school and then once again for game programming, because everything is drawn on the screen with triangles. And it's kind of a sad thing to know that the trig can be fun, but they don't tell you that in school.
Yeah, well, it's like, well, why do I want to draw a triangle?
I've already seen a triangle. Why do I need to make one?
I see Excelsior UK, SOHCAHTOA. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the one. So basically, um, the first calculation I did was really easy. It's um, the semi-major axis, which you can get from in game through the journal, or you can look it up on EDSM or on Spanch. The semi-major axis is basically the radius of the orbit, which is measured in astronomical units usually. So I had to do a bit of I had to learn how to convert from various types of units, light seconds to astronomical units and meters and kilometers and so on, because all the units in the game are all slightly different. But basically, I looked to see, right, what if I take a planet here and I compare it against all the other planets that share the same orbit, that are orbiting the same object, is the difference between the radius, the semi-major axis, is it less than the two radiuses of the planets added together? And if you end up with a negative number, then the planets are overlapping. So it's actually very kind of simple calculations to do. So that's how I identified all the planets. But then the orbits aren't just perfectly circular or all on the same plane. You can have an orbital inclination. So with these two planets, the orbits kind of are inclined so that they cross over. If you imagine a cross, so if you look down down one plane of the orbit, so they look like a cross. They're going to meet twice in exactly the orbits touch in exactly the same position twice
Well,
where they
now
cross
if
over.
you were actually like doing this for let's say like on a NASA level, you were actually responsible for doing these calculations. Doesn't doesn't the actual gravity of how large these objects are totally screw everything up? Because as they get
It
close,
does.
like doesn't everything get wonky?
It does, but in Elite Dangerous, the orbits are just fixed. That these two planets won't change their course because they've bumped into each other. They'll just carry on and meet again. Whereas NASA does have to worry about, is if you start looking at real world orbits, they are extraordinarily complex and very dynamic and yeah, change. They sort of spiral around each other. There really aren't any perfect circles in space. Whereas in Elite Dangerous, everything's an ellipse. It's just an ellipse. And the ellipses are used in astronomy as an approximation, but there are real world events which sort of when you start looking into the finer detail, or the further into the future you try to go, the less predictable it becomes. There's an interesting thing. Someone created an orbit which when you sort of follow the orbit, it's around a whole bunch of different objects. But when you trace out the passage through the orbit, it actually draws a picture of Homer Simpson. Which It's quite extraordinary. There's an animation of it. I mean, it's bizarre. But yeah, so in Elite, the orbits are actually quite straightforward. So these two, what was unusual is the semi-major axis is exactly the same, which means that they, would follow the same orbit. But the orbital periods were different, which meant that one would overtake the other. But because the orbits are inclined, there was no guarantee that I would ever see them interact in my lifetime. So my only sort of chance was if the angle of those orbits was small enough that the planets would intersect each other at some point along those orbits. So what I did is I used just basic trigonometry to work out what the separation between the two planets was at the furthest point in that where that crosses over. So if you put the apex of the triangle at the center where they meet, and you look at the opposite side, how wide is that opposite side? And if that opposite side is less than the radius of the two planets put together, then again you're going to get a meeting. So that's basically all there is to it, but it is quite complex to then work out what all those numbers are based on the things that you know, and try and work out the things that you don't know. I'm not very good at explaining it because I'm actually not very good at maths.
No, it's fine, but
if someone who's not good at maths can do it.
I don't understand what you said, but I get like the spirit of it in a way, if that makes any sense. Hold on, I'm just gonna. The planets seem to be moving apart, and the only way for me to get out, I think. Let me try to frame shift drive out of here. Hold on.
While you're doing that, the real Frosty pointed out something hilarious in chat. Is that a lot of times we wonder, Mars, if
Yeah.
us bringing attention to these glitches is the reason why FDev knows what they are and patches them out. Maybe we should stop bringing attention to them if we want them to live on.
Yeah. Well, then we wouldn't have a channel, would we? But no. I mean, a lot of times people wouldn't know about these places at all. So, so you wouldn't see it either way.
The whole ethos is canon, is that we want to share this stuff with people. So
Yeah.
and then get people to enjoy these things. So one of the things I want to try and do is to actually have some sort of a schedule so that I can so people can go and look at something and it will say, oh, there's going to be a collision next week between in this system. So that's something I'd like to do, but actually doing the calculations is quite difficult because there's stuff that you don't know about. So when you all the data that is used to describe an orbit that's available to us from the journals, for instance, there's nothing that tells you what the current position of the planet is on the orbit, and that's why I was having to use the orrery and try and measure angles between the planets, so I could actually say, okay, well, this is the position between a certain point on the orbit where things are going to cross over, and the positions of the planets now. And then once I got that, I was able to then calculate how long is it going to take for them to move over to here. So it's not possible to just predict that something will collide, because you've got to then work out, well, where are they now? So I was talking about some of the potential collisions that might only happen once every few thousand years. The only way to know when that's going to be is to actually fly there, bring up the orrery, do some measurements, and then sort of calculate.
Now, when you say measurements, do you mean you actually like measure on the screen, or do you mean like numbers?
So I use a piece of software called IC Measure, and it allows you to take an image, and you kind of place your cursor on the point you want to measure from, and then you draw the lines, and it tells you what angle is between them. So I'm literally on the screen measuring stuff, and it calculates the angle for me.
Now, when these two planets pull apart, it's gonna be. I'm gonna try to play try to like do the thread the needle. Try to go as fast as I can in between them without running into them. I think that'll be some fun. I was hoping that I'd be able to do that before these two came together, but I think they started conjoining a little earlier than we expected.
Oh my God! Someone just posted a picture of from their point of view.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna copy it. I think we're gonna have to rename. We're gonna have to rename it.
Oh no.
We're gonna have to rename it. Yeah. I think we're gonna have to call it Kim Kardashian.
Oh my God. I
I'm gonna
I
post.
think
I'll
from my
post
point
it
of
in
view I
group
can
chat.
tell why also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is definitely the greatest one
This,
of those things ever
yeah.
seen.
This is almost TOS right now.
Yeah, I think I'll have to get in touch with the Galactic Mapping project. Oh, David Braben has retweeted me.
Oh,
Available, retweeted. Yeah.
fantastic. Okay, so hopefully at that point, maybe that's a sign of anointment. Maybe stuff like this is going to be left in. Who knows?
I mean, at this point, I mean, the Kardashians definitely like have their Instagram universe. I think they got nothing on this though.
Shall I read you David Braben's tweet?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, contact binaries are a real thing, by the way, even for stars. We have a few contact binary asteroids discovered, e.g., Ultima Thule. So there you go. So it sounds like David is cool with our little discovery.
But yeah, I mean, granted, this doesn't show like what can actually happen between the two things. But look at all the people here. Look at all the organization it took to like, oh, okay, let's all go see something happening. That's not like something that's organized in like a community goal, right? It's something that isn't just like, oh, let's all go to Big O Point. It's something that like could happen in real life. It's not represented as it could do because FDev's concentrated on doing Odyssey stuff and whatnot. But as like I suppose not to say like personal narrative, but in our own imaginations, we can imagine like, okay, cool, this is something that is as close as we're going to get to watching the collisions of planets and stars and whatnot. I don't know. Does
We
anybody?
always tease the FDev developers for, not not balancing the game, not putting in features we've asked for years. But when you think about it, like they started with actual NASA data as a seed. Um, the amount of computational power it would be required to actually simulate the entire universe is obviously not available on your computer. They've done a really great job, and this is one of those things that's so awesome of like, we can really experience as much as possible. And this isn't something that devs even like set out to do. Like they set up the sandbox, and we get to explore it and see what happens with these things. I feel like we are always like kind of negative on FDev, but like also, guys, we really love you and the thing that you made. You made something really cool.
Yeah, there's no like I said before. There's no uh there's no way to measure a bug's awesomeness on the scale of an entire galaxy being like reproduced.
Now, I think I mean Elite Dangerous is the deepest thing I've ever played. I mean, it's if you think about it, I mean even FDev don't know what's out there. They don't know what's in the galaxy. I mean, when you look in the galaxy map and you look to see look for Guardian civilization, the 100 systems that are in the galaxy map marked as Guardian civilization are only the systems that Canon and others have discovered and was published on Canon, because FDev don't actually know where they are because it's procedurally generated. And the same goes for 400 billion stars. You just don't know really what's out there until you go look at it, and it's kind of like quantum, isn't it? It's like nothing exists until you observe it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly right.
when you stop observing it, it ceases to exist. But if someone else comes along and observes it, then they'll see it exactly as it would have been, as if it existed all along. And that to me is just like the deepest, most profound thing. And sometimes I think maybe we're living in a simulation. You know, what I could have been created right this very second with memory of stuff that I've of my entire life, but it was all just created this second in a simulation. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't know
we
in
could all
real
be
life.
NPCs in David Braben's, own
Yeah,
video game.
yeah. So it's
That
it's,
that
it's an
that whole
amazing
theory
game.
that whole theory is really fascinating because if you look at it from like the logical philosophical perspective, it gets really hard to get away from, right? Because it's like, well, what do you think of VR? Like, well, it's getting better. Okay, do you think it'll get even better? Yeah. Do you think it'll get to the point where you can't distinguish it from real life? Yeah. Who's to say we're not already there? Oh, man. Okay,
But
now
I
we
mean,
now we have a real problem with that theory.
but to be honest, I mean, reality as we experience it is just a model that's built in our head, and that's why we have optical illusions. We have glitches that your brain is processing information and trying to make sense of it, and sometimes it gets it wrong. And you know, for there to be a few bugs in a galaxy of 400 billion stars, I think I'd say well done, FDev. You've done a great job. I'm surprised there aren't more. So it's very deep. I mean, there's the other thing, isn't it? People say Elite Dangerous is it's a mile wide and an inch deep, but it's like I've been playing I don't know how many years and I haven't experienced half of the things that are available.
Yeah.
Um,
Now,
it
what do you
makes things
think would be this experience Mars when we get space legs? Like,
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the crazy things to be able to just walk through a planet, dig your way to China, basically, right? Just find a uh, a gap in one, because you do that with the SRV sometimes. You'll find a gap in the textures of the planet, and sometimes you can even fall through the planet. And I just can't wait to do that on foot.
that'd be quite fun. And yeah, every 8 days we can go and
Oh my god, yeah. Every 8 days, have a planet land on your head.
try.
I would say that, just
Whoa.
for
Oh, the planet's disappearing.
I,
One second. If I do this, if I look away, it ceases to exist. And then I do this, and I David Copperfield it back into existence.
Mars, I would say that besides like real travel across the world of places that I've been to or have enjoyed, um, my favorite experience in Elite Dangerous has to be the first time that you showed me when a planet goes through a asteroid field.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that I actually thought like I would like to live there. Like I really did
Yeah.
think like I'm like that is such a beautiful, terrible idea, but it was so crazy being on a planet and watching the asteroid field going a million miles an hour, just
Yeah.
like a couple meters away. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. To the point that I actually had the thought of like I would like to live nearby that. That sounds like a great place to be.
Yeah, it was nice because it looked like the asteroid, not the asteroid, but the ring planet was raining in front of us, and we
Right,
happened to
right.
be in front of some kind of settlement, and it was like, this is our house, this is our home, this is where we've come to find ourselves in the universe, and what a great place to be.
And of course, then I ran out of fuel and was dying. But
No, you didn't
that's
run out of fuel. What happened is we saved you. Oh yeah, you did run out of fuel. Then I saved you, and then you went outside for a break, and you accidentally switched on your silent running, and I saw your hull going down, and I texted you like, "Why is your hull going down?" And then I heard you, in the earphones going, "No, God no, 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 God no!" And then it was too late. No amount of heat sinks could save you because you are like 400% heat. It's just nice being able to fly around this stuff.
Well, I can't fly around at the moment. My game just crashed.
Oh, well,
Went
tune into the
went
stream.
Super Cruise.
We got it
Went
live.
Yeah, I just went into Super Cruise while I was
Yeah.
sort of in between the two, and it all I sent a bug report saying sorry, I broke the game.
Oh, a bug report about disconnecting, not so much about what we're watching, right? What happens? Does it happen every so often? Well, it might happen again in June. For those of
Yeah.
you also joining us since the beginning, this will happen again. I believe it's June,
January.
right?
January will be like today.
Yeah,
I think it's the 17th. It
a
should be on the
minor
website.
impact, as you call it.
Yeah. Yeah. And as actually, it kind of worked out. I did say that I said it would be 2 hours before, but because of the curvature, it turned out to be about 1 hour before the closest approach. So, so yeah, if you look on the website, it'd be about an hour, be there about an hour before, or 2 hours before they join up, and
yeah,
you should see it.
and then there's
Now,
going to be a face-on collision later on, right?
Yeah, head on, full. One planet will pass straight through the other.
And that'll be in June, I believe.
June, yeah, I think. So I've got it up here somewhere. So it'll be 3307, won't it? 23rd of June, 3307. So you probably want to get there in game no later than 2:30 p.m. But I would recommend coming a little bit earlier just so you can get into position.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be what three misses, and then we'll have another on the November 3307. There'll be another minor impact, and then another one on the 8th of January 3308. So they're quite rare. We only got only a few impacts every year.
David Braven mentioned some conjoining stars, did he? Or binary stars or touching stars? Do you know of any of those? Because I'd like to see some of those. There used to be
I've
one.
not found any.
Yeah.
Because I look for stars as well, but I might double check my code because I may have got the radiuses not quite right.
Yeah.
But I've not seen any stars that are less than 1 diameter apart.
I see.
So far.
There used to be one in Ross 430 or Ross 470, something like that, or 730. But they moved those guys further apart.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, it wouldn't actually be difficult for them to put something in to kind of move the orbits.
No.
Well, I say that. I mean, there's probably multiple places where they do that. So change it in one place, it probably won't work.
Yeah, I think they do it manually just because they've tried to fix a couple of other things but that are like this, but it doesn't change globally. Because we still find these things happening.
That's good then, cause, that's good because we'll just keep finding more.
Yeah.
I mean, we've explored so little of the galaxy. There's probably hundreds of thousands of these things for us to find. So if they're doing them manually, we'll get to enjoy this over and over again. So it's quite nice looking through Twitter, and all I can see is pink and orange.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it.
Perhaps I shouldn't be looking at those kind of Twitter.
Oh well. I thought you meant you're watching this stuff, but yeah. I mean, this stuff kind of like, any news is good news, right? Any good publicity is good publicity. Is that true, Sparks? You kind of know more about that kind of stuff. Is this a good thing for FDev that we're kind of showcasing this sort of stuff happening?
Yeah, I do understand the concept of any publicity is good publicity, but nowadays I just don't think that's true. There's some publicity that's bad publicity.
I think this is a good one, though. I think whatever brings community together to just look at the game and discuss, because even though this is a bug, we are discussing what an awesome this feat of what they have been attempting to do is.
Yeah, well, you know what would be okay. FDev, I know you have things that you're trying to do. You're trying to make space legs. You have things you have to program. You have game mechanics to consider. You're trying to get new players on board. However, I would love it if just when these types of things happen, if you were to put in Easter eggs that would just allow us to experience something crazy when this stuff happens, like to actually try to simulate some experience of what it would be like to watch two planets collide in a realistic fashion. I think it would just blow all of our brains if you actually
I
did
know,
that,
right?
as opposed
We
to
go to,
us like
we go to these
Go ahead.
things as as though oh yeah, this would be one of those bugs, and then it turns out it's like a whole instance that actually occurs, and then just wipes out everybody in it. Everyone's dead. That would be great. I would love
Yeah.
that. Like a lot of people would be upset they lose their what's it called data, but I mean fair enough. You lost it in a freaking supernova. How awesome is that?
Like even okay, like even if they were to just detect if you were close enough to this event at this time, if they were immediately to like trigger your rebuy screen and show you like a somatic like cut scene of like two big giants colliding and things just getting a mess, I would totally be like, you know what, I don't care that I just lost millions of credits and game hours, because what the F just happened? That would be amazing.
I remember there's a little while back there was a bug that someone noticed where there was a station that was selling a new commodity and
Yeah.
also buying it at a higher price, like a very high price.
Oh yeah.
So as soon as I found that, I thought, well, everyone else, because what I do in game doesn't earn me any money most of the time. I'm doing a lot of exploring now, so I've got a reasonable income stream. But when I was doing Thargoid research, it was just an expense. No matter, even just killing Thargoids was costing me lots of money. So I had to go and use things that these fast money making schemes every now and then. So I just have a buffer stock until it would all run down again. So when I saw this this market glitch, I thought, well, I'll exploit that. So I went along, and after a couple of hours, I amassed 2 billion. I thought that'll do.
That'll do.
And,
Little did you know.
And then, well, then FDev, people complained about it, and FDev decided they were going to just take the money away from people. And I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that.
He's
But
like, fair enough.
What I wanted, and I thought, well, if you're going to do that, why don't you just put me into a penal system? Treat me like a criminal,
Yeah.
take the money away, put me into a penal system. I don't want to just come and say, oh, the money's gone.
Yeah.
What is that? I just make it part of the. It's like, oh, you've been a naughty boy. Here's a fine, taking your money, and you're going to go into a penal system.
You wanted to feel like a naughty boy. Is what you're telling us.
Yeah. So I was cool
Okay.
I was cool with them taking the money away.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I remember there was
I'd have a fleet carrier.
yeah. I remember there was an engineering exploit where like you as you're engineering, you quickly look at your engineering materials and then you got it for free. And so they just took away all those engineering ships. All your ships were gone. And I thought, well, that's fair enough too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
I
bit of a
kind of agree with that.
yeah.
I mean, the market thing, the exploiting the markets. I mean, that's just something that people do in real life, isn't it? You find a loophole, you exploit
yeah.
it. Either it's legal or it's illegal.
I'll make it
or you don't,
legal.
so.
Yeah. Well,
Some,
I
some
still
lovely
remember-
time lapses and stuff get out on.
well,
out
Sparks,
on
don't you
purpose.
go confessing the stuff that we then I have to fix later on. So
Well, I was gonna say, like, speaking of such things, Ghost Giraffe in its early days was a pretty expensive production budget, because in order to get some of the shots that we needed to get, you'd camera out to view Mars or Sparks doing something silly, and your ship would crash into whatever it was headed towards. And so we had a very expensive production budget, and so at one point we coded up a bot to exploit something in Elite Dangerous that a fan had told us about. And basically the the net result was that at some point we had $1 billion in Sparks's account, and the problem was is that at the time Sparks needed to leave the station, but if anybody scanned him, he would have created the account because the amount of the amount of fees on that particular problem would have created a negative balance, and so it was one of the most
the integer rollover or something.
well anyway for a long time there was one system that Sparks couldn't go to because if he got shot and killed it would have created his account because he owed way too much. But I remember thinking about that of being like feeling like it was a real heist, like an actual like heist in the game, like we're stealing from this system. Now everything's like been rolled over, but man, was that a stressful time.
I've moved over to the dark side of these planets because we've been looking at it the light side the whole time, but you can see like the light going through these guys. I mention this as though like this is actually what happens, but like, as you, if you're here, it's kind of neat to examine like what happens on a graphical sense of like between these two planets, like what is occurring, or like what sort of artifacts are we seeing in the programming.
It's a Kardashian event, I think is what
The
it
Kardashian event. Looks like they're starting to get a little bit more not oblong, but like they're passing through each other now. I think I'm behind them. Let's see. Let me go over here. Let me get to the side of them. Flying while filming is an art within itself.
Now, Mars, just to kind of reiterate, because I know you dealt with this earlier.
Yeah.
From a game dynamic perspective, what happens if you're like on the planet, near the planet? Because like you have like two game mechanics working at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Which is like you have the game mechanic of being on the planet, but then you also have all the kind of auto start and protection things from when you get near a planet. So what happens if you're actually on the planet right now?
Well, if you're like in the exclusion zone of one of the planets, you'll become part of that planet's like existence, while the other one will just become a mirage and pass over you. And while that's happening, you'll just see the geometric mapping of it. It becomes like this big giant like geometric shape in the sky, and then you won't be able to jump.
So the game assigns you to being a part of one of the planets, and the other one is just a visual artifact.
Yeah. Yeah, and
so
yeah.
as an example, as an SRV, you can't jump from one planet to the other, can you?
No. When we did this with Rocky Planets, I tried getting SRV and doing just that, but you just fly right through it. So it's almost it's like the wizard behind the curtain. But in this case, because these are just projections, they're not actual like I'm not gonna say textures, but these are just projections. So when you go in it, you don't see that mesh that you see when you're in a rocky planet, that sort of grid. You just see a kind of glitched out 2D projection of a sphere.
Right, and that would be because the 3D rendering is not actually rendering any texture mapping or physical shape in the physics engine. It's just an illusion, so to speak. It's just a 2D sphere.
Yeah. Oh boy. Man, this has been a nice long conjunction here. It's nice that it's lasted as long. And I hope is anyone in stream watching this? Is anybody? I wish chat could. I don't know if Twitch chat can do this, but I wish you could like, share photos in with us, and then we could like vet it and then show it on stream. But I don't have the capability to do that at the moment. Now, let's see. I want to see if I can do something here. I don't think I can. Now, LCU. Okay, how do you like to be addressed by the way?
LCU's fine, and most people call me LCU. Some people call me Fool.
All right, fool.
To be honest, normally I try and go on in character. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos Canon have put out, and
Yeah.
so I'm actually addressing you in the voice I use for my out, Powell of Oblivion.
Yeah.
But today I was so excited I forgot to be in character.
Now, what does your character sound like?
Well, it sounds a bit like this, and he
Oh.
doesn't like fools, even though he is one.
I like that.
But yeah, go onto the Canon Media YouTube, and we've got a load of stuff that we've done. Most recent thing I did a song with my daughter. So we took the music from American Boy by Kanye West, and I've got the name of the one because it was all my daughter's idea, and we wrote a song. We rewrote the lyrics, and so LCU does some rap, and she sings the song about the megaship tour, and
Oh, I saw that. Oh, that was your daughter. Oh, that was a really good song. I I the lyrics were really fun to listen to. I did watch it a couple of times just to hear like all like the inside jokes, like Elite Dangerous stuff. But she has a pretty good singing voice.
Yeah, she does. She's a great singer. And we're yeah, we do quite a lot. So I do a lot of stuff with the Hutton Truckers as well.
Yeah.
I record a few bits and pieces. So we've got some Christmassy stuff which we'll be putting out at some point. A couple of years ago, I did it was like a cookery show on the Gnosis.
Yeah.
That ended up with a hull breach, and so this week I had a look, and I've now figured out how to do a green screen to show the hull breach on the ship. So I'm going to record some video to go with the radio parts.
Oh,
So
very
that should
cool.
be fun. But yeah. So yeah, it's good fun. I mean, I just just love all the stuff that surrounds Elite Dangerous. I mean, I do an incredible amount of stuff. So videos. I do this kind of thing with the doing the calculations, and a huge amount of software that we've written for so the things generally related to the Canon plugin. So all of the things that we discover go into a big database, and we've got exports, 3D maps of what things are in the galaxy. So, for instance, if you wanted to have a look and see where all the notable stellar phenomena are and how they're clustered in the galaxy, we've got a 3D map of that of all
Neat.
those cloud systems. And the recent thing I did was I put in a fleet carrier detector,
Yeah.
which we've got two components. One is sort of sitting on a PC under my desk, which listens to EDDN for docking and undocking events from fleet carriers,
That's crazy.
and restore those. But also when people are flying around and they do an FFS scan, it captures the fleet carrier IDs and their names, and so we've got a database of all the fleet carriers and where they were last seen. And within the space of about 2 weeks, we managed to capture something like 16,000 fleet carriers. We've got names for all but 500 of them, which is kind of interesting. So we can do a map of that as well. And I'm hoping we might be able to use it for something a bit more useful, like maybe having a page where people can go and say, right, where's my nearest fleet carrier, and it'll go and tell them.
Now,
Which is quite a useful thing to have in the black.
that's amazing. I'll put a link in the description of this video and in our Discord of all those things. So those of you in chat who want to visit and use these tools, try them out. You will be able to. Our link to our Discord server is in the description. So go on ahead there and share pictures, see pictures that people have
I
shared.
just wanted to call out the people who have already shared pictures. Some of these are freaking great, guys. Like thank you guys so much for sharing these. Some of these are hilariously awesome.
Now, right now, I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can into one of these. I don't know.
Oh.
I can't wait till they pull apart, and then I'll be able to fly through them. There we go. Whoa! Here we go. Okay, can't really see
Nice.
it here. Now again, this is with my permadeath account, so if this commander dies, I have to clear save. So I will point that out. There is some there's some amount of real life danger going on here too.
And on that note, Mars,
Yeah.
what again is Thrombar Carnage's motivation for watching this event?
Well, Thrombar, our fearless explorer here, who just came into the Elite Dangerous existence last week. He now has successfully flown through a gas planet. So now he can say that he is the only pirate who has flown through a gas planet, which really doesn't do much in terms of his street cred amongst pirates, but it's something to say while he's demanding limpets, because he only pirates with stolen limpets.
I still feel like Thrombar needs to steal something on this stream. I feel like
Gas. Maybe he's stolen some gas.
I've stolen some gas. It's mine now. It's all mine. My gas.
He's left his cargo hatch open. Now he's got
Yeah.
several tons of rhubarb and custard.
There you go. I got rhubarb and custard. Some food there. I wonder what kind of gas these things are. I suppose I could find out right away. Just push this button. See what these guys are made out of. Let's see. The gas
be on
primarily.
EDSM?
So custard is primarily hydrogen and helium atmospheres. They're primarily blue in color. I can see that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wispy cloud layers. Okay. Location 7 human. Oh, probably these. I was like, what? 7 human is. Oh, it's the fleet carriers. Okay, so it's mostly hydrogen and helium. Why it has that color, we don't know. But this one over here, it's the same thing. They're basically the same planet.
Yeah, but they've got different colours. Isn't that weird? I mean, the stats on these planets, they're exactly the same number of Earth masses,
Yeah.
same radius, same gravity, same surface temperature.
I wonder if like there was a power outage and the surge protector popped in and it just accidentally made 2 of them.
I'm wondering if they're actually hand placed, because this system in the real galaxy, or should I say in the simulated galaxy, actually has exoplanets. So I think it had 2 exoplanets listed, and it's possible that originally those exoplanets were thought to be gas giants, but actually they're a bit smaller than that in reality.
And like you said, the orbit is spherical, which if you look at orbits of basically almost everything else, well, I say that, but this looks kind of spherical here too. But it's not oblong or whatnot. So it's weird. Number 1, that they're colliding. 2, that the orbit is perpendicular to the rest of the plane. Also, they're really close to the star. So there's a lot of things going on here that's just strange. Oh my God! Look at all those. Look at all these fleet carriers. It's like flies around some.
So I feel like this collision would have created helium hydride then,
Yeah.
which I think as far as they can tell was one of the first molecules that ever existed in the Big Bang. But like having so much hydrogen and helium just colliding at this, you got to know that that's going to be. I mean, it's got to do something. It's got to change something. That's a lot of energy and a lot of very basic atomic units just smashing against each other.
That it is, Sparks.
Some heavier elements created by the impact, which would then sink down into the center.
I like
Yeah.
that. And in the middle of all this is your mom. The fleet carrier right there. It's like your mom.
Nice.
Your
Nice.
mom's bum.
You know what I actually wish would happen for this phase? Have either of you played Noita?
Noita. Sounds German.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Oops. Flew away.
So Noita is a game where they clearly like created the game engine and then had to figure out what the game was about. But what it is it's like a per pixel physics engine. So like if something explodes, like every single pixel is calculated to move around, and so it's a really silly game because like things catch fire or things explode and like the Earth moves. It's very like, you know, and then they had to kind of come up with a concept on top of it. But that's what I want to see with this. Is I just want to see like a per pixel simulation of just crazy gas and molecules just crushing together.
Now here you can see the two paths. So there's one orbital path here and one orbital path up there. And you can see that one has cleaved through and it's going on its merry way that way, and the other one is going this way. No, sorry. That's entirely wrong. The one on the bottom is, since it's on the inner track, is cleaving its way across the bottom of the brown one there, and it's on its way out.
I can't quite see what you're seeing.
Oh, let me get closer. Sorry, yeah, the rendering in YouTube might not show it. Let me get a bit closer here. They're starting to pull apart. If anything, they're about to be done. Look at that. The collision, the kiss is about over, right there. You could almost see them coming apart now.
We're past the Kardashian moment.
Yeah.
We're now in. What phase would you call this if we had to describe this?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, look, yeah, they're now apart. Okay, the collision has officially ended, and they're pulling apart. You can actually see them getting further and further apart from each other. And
I was going to say, if you look at the orbit lines and you can see at some point they converge and cross over. So that's where we're going to be in June, at one of those points where they cross over.
Yeah, and before this stream is out, I'm going to go ahead and fly through this gap. But I need to wait for the exclusion zones to be far enough.
We're going from the Kardashian phase to the Pam Anderson phase.
Anderson phase. Oh, boy.
Pam Anderson or Dolly Parton?
She's been.
Oh yeah, Dolly Parton would be a much better celebration here. Yeah, we're moving from the Kardashian phase to the Dolly phase.
The Dolly phase 1.
Yeah, so the speed that they're traveling relative to each other when they were approaching was about 3.8 million kilometers per second.
3.8 million kilometers a second?
Yeah, so you can imagine. I mean, these things are absolutely massive. So it feels like they're moving incredibly slowly, but it's actually a tremendous speed.
Now, if this were real and actually to be simulated, even with like the gravitational forces, like this would probably be like an oblong blend of gases. It probably wouldn't be two separate entities like this for a little bit, right?
Yeah, and you'd have, it's kind of like when you get dirt on the tire of a bike. It would also be flinging stuff off on the other side of them too.
Oh man, Zertia, thank you so much for the donation. We really appreciate that. You were awesome too for donating.
Thank you so much.
I like that they donated $14.99. It's like they're giving us.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't $15.
I hope I'm getting commission for this.
It's a 3-month installment that he's going to be doing. This is his first easy payment. The other 2 payments are going to be a pain. That's a Mitch Hedberg joke. All right.
Looks like Canon Radio's arrived too late to see it.
LCU, somebody's asking in chat, when will this happen again? Do you want to speak to that again?
Yeah, so the next minor collision, which is what this was, will be the
Minor
17th of
collision.
January.
Yeah.
So the next Kardashian.
Yeah.
We're going to call it, is it the Kardashian
Yeah.
scale?
Yeah. The Kardashian smudge.
So where are we? So we're now on the 6th of December. So yeah, oh no, it's 15th of January at 12:17. So I would get there about 10 a.m. Just to be sure that you catch it. Bear in mind that there is a margin of error on these things because we're having to measure stuff by hand. We might not have the exact right point. I mean, it's
Didn't
difficult
you
to
say
tell
you
from
used
looking.
didn't you say that you used like what is it called? The measurement program that's normally used for like measuring like pictures of nuts and bolts on screen accurately.
I see measure.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
called.
Thank you for your second installment there, $4.99.
Yeah, thank you
You
so
have to
much.
do that,
That's
pal.
awesome. Yeah, second installment of $4.99. I love it.
That gets you the
Uh,
free dust rag as well. Alright.
I can throw in some avian cheese. We
Ooh.
have the Gnosis avian cheese.
I've heard that joke being made before. What is avian cheese?
So this was I don't know if you remember we did a trip on the Gnosis up to the IRAS system, which was the highest. Well, it was further than anyone had been able to go before. The Gnosis was the only ship that could jump to there,
Yeah.
and it's called Operation Cabin Fever because for about 3 weeks it was in systems that nobody could jump in or out of. And so our boffins got a bit bored during that time, and they genetically engineered chickens to have milk.
Oh my god.
And but not only that, that wasn't enough of a challenge. So it was actually cockerels that they used it for.
Oh my god. They milked
And
the cockerels.
yeah, and they made
Takes a
a
whole new meaning
cheese.
to chicken breast.
Well, yeah, they gave them a cocktail of hormones, oxytocin and progestin, which encourage breast milk manufacture in males as well. So they've got these very small quantities of milk produced from roosters. I'm actually contractually obliged not to mention cockerels in relation to this product.
Oh,
They're
don't worry.
not
No one's watching. So
so they've made this cheese from the milk of roosters, which we hope to sell on the Gnosis if FDev will allow us. I've attempted to bribe them, but so far they've told
they
us
have
we
all the
can't.
money they need. You keep offering them in-game money. That's a problem. Okay, so the
I've
exclusion zone of one planet has left the surface of the other. It's not enough room for me to squish in between there, but as soon as... Let's see, let me take a look over here. I can't see the exclusion zone of this one, but I'll give it a good old college try. Try to fly in between these two.
Thrombar Carnage attempts the unattemptable.
Oh yes, Thrombar Carnage. It will be the first to fly in between the Dolly Partons. Here we go. There we go. It's doing its pre-jump warm up, up and down, some calisthenics here. Get the old, dolphin legs good and going. All right, judging the approach, much too close. Much too close. We need a more perilous attack on that. I need to go so fast that I instantly regret what I've done, but have no time to have that thought. So we'll go ahead and get that far and then come right back around. Oh my god. So Frana, fantastic. It's the Dolly parting.
Nice.
Brilliant.
That is good. Alright, here we go. Okay, here we are. About to get in there. Let's see here. Oh yes, this is yes. I can't even see where I'm supposed to be headed to. So that means this is far enough away. And to make things even triple or quadruply hard, I'm gonna do it from the outside. Alright, let's see here. All right. Okay. Right now, in chat, anybody what's the odds of me making this? Anybody? Okay, here we go. Full speed. We're going ludicrous speed here. Okay. I'm not
Are
even
we gonna
controlling the
meet-
ship. I just pointed at it and I'm praying. Here we come. Oh, there they go.
Are you in
Oh
open,
boy.
or-
Oh, that's gonna hurt. Ah. Oh, my face went right into the windshield there.
Chad had a lot of great odds for you on that one. A lot of it was 0, some 1, some 2%.
My-
One was 420%, like
my-
that 1 in 10.
Yeah. My son just passed me a note that wrote 0.0%. He didn't just write 0%. He put not point not. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, that is precise. Knowing the difference between accuracy and precision, an important concept.
right. Very impressive there. All right. Well, that just means we have to try that again. Right?
Well, yeah, Thrombar Carnage would not give up at this point.
Yeah. No. He doesn't. Not only does he not give up, he oh, I think I need a point at a planet in order to escape. Okay. We need to immediately turn away from this. Oh boy. Go away there. And alright. Face the star. There we go. Alright. Okay, the first time I tried to get out, I couldn't because I was actually inside of another planet. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is nice. That's beautiful. You can see the reflection of the other planet in the helmet, I call it, of the dolphin.
So I'm gonna have to remember to get myself onto a carrier before I log off because
Oh, yeah, right?
Get out of the system.
You don't want to be home alone.
Well, now, Mars, is anybody nearby you right now in open?
No, no contact at all. I did see a hollow point at one point. But,
I saw some
nobody
folks,
nearby.
but I think everyone's going back in their cars. It's like you're at
yeah.
one of those stops. And like I said before, Thrombar Carnage is gonna walk home from here. So we got
Well, what
we
I'm
got up to
saying though
37.
is,
Yeah.
it would be helpful if Thrombar. I mean, this probably isn't going to happen, but I would love if Thrombar were to steal something at this moment.
I don't think he even has collecting limpets. You would have to ask them for collecting limpets again. He would have to tell the person. Oh, I don't even have an interdictor. Do I have an interdictor? No, I don't. All right. Okay, one last time.
Maybe I can purchase a Thargoid sensor or something from one of the carriers,
Yeah.
one of the cannon carriers, and give it to him.
Looks like somebody's trying to tempt the cleave here. Just want to get a video, and because in the video, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna say that was Thrombar who made it. Okay, he's going through. Let's see if it happens. They're going off to the side, so technically not in between them. Oh, but they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it. Oh, they're not even going there. They went at the planet. Okay. That means we have. Okay, there's somebody on screen here. There's a T7 here named Truckin. He's truckin'. A T7. My God. It's one of the ships you'll never find me alive in. John Smith, would you please drop from CZ? I don't have an interdictor. Would please drop some limpets so I can break your cargo hatch? Yeah, that's basically what's what we're gonna say. All right, I'll write to somebody in chat and say that. Thrombar Carnage, the most polite the most polite. What's it called?
He's the
Pirate
most
you ever
polite
fight.
pacifist pirate there is.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, we did it! We did it! We passed through them. And I'm just getting a note from my son that the stream is about to end, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this as we part ways with history. Yeah. So, oh, look at that nice eclipse there. Oh, it's beautiful. This is a beautiful game. No matter what happens into it, it's gorgeous. Somebody else is flying through the middle. It's a bit too late for them. We were the first. Ah, we did it. Okay. I'm going to do it one more time and then we'll go. Alright, guys. We are so happy that you guys could join us for this awesome stream. Thank you so much to our guests for joining us. LCU, No Fool Like One. Is that right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so
thank
much
you,
for not just for joining us, but for doing all the legwork and finding this place. And I mean, this is everyone here is here because of you, for your work. So I hope it feels like it was worth doing.
I very much look forward to getting my commission check.
Yes, yes.
in installments, of course.
Yeah, of $4.99 yearly. Okay, everyone.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching the stream now.
Yeah, right. You gotta watch yourself. Okay, let's see here. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. We might have a little bit of an earlier stream on next Saturday. I'll send out the details then. Any last things to say there, Sparks?
Yeah. Happy birthday, buddy. That's
Oh,
coming
thanks.
up.
Yeah, Wednesday, birthday. Birthday time
Yeah.
for Sparks. No, Mars. That's right. That's me. that's my name.
Yeah. So yeah, happy birthday, Mars. I know it will be streaming on your birthday, but just best birthday wishes to you.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything LCU coming and giving us a schooling on basic trig and some awesome moments in game.
Thank you.
Yeah. Whoa. What's going on here? All right. Everyone's just flying through here now. It's hilarious. All right. One last one. One for the road. There we go. And as these planets drift off into the oblivion, we will leave you with this parting ending screen. Farewell and take luck.
Thanks, everybody. Have
Bye-bye.
a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
where is the button? There.